What's going on, Buffalo State Hockey? I'm here with head coach Steve Murphy for episode 11 of Mondays with Murph. We have an action-packed episode for this Monday.
You always say that.
What?
You always say we have an action-packed episode.
Because there's a lot of action. Hockey's an action-packed sport. You bring some really good analysis and interesting viewpoints to the sport and your team. So
fair enough.
It's action, right?
Let's roll.
All right. So we'll talk about this past weekend of games, and we're going to start with the 5-2 loss against Oswego. From your point of view, what were just some of the reasons that kind of just went into the loss versus Oswego in the SUNYAC matchup?
I mean, they're a good hockey team, and I just felt like we stopped playing. I thought when they pushed back, we just kind of rolled over instead of fighting back a little bit. I thought we had a really good first period. It was a good back and forth game, and then it was almost like that was kind of good enough for us, and they kind of kicked our ass the rest of the way. So lesson learned, and hopefully we learn from it and we're better moving forward.
All right, saying better moving forward, the team had a better game the next night against another SUNYAC opponent in Cortland. They ended up beating them 4-2. What were some of the reasons, from your point of view as the coach, that the team pulled off a big SUNYAC win to end the semester?
I was really impressed with our third period. I didn't think we were great the first two periods. I didn't think we were particularly bad. It was just kind of, I don't know. And then, it just, the guys gutted it out in the third period, and they got to give them a lot of credit. They responded from the previous night in the first two periods and really played a very well put together third period. And we had two shorthanded goals, which was huge. But they just came out and wanted it more than Cortland in the third period, and I got to give our guys all the credit for that.
All right, you say a big third period. I have a couple questions now that really involved the third period. One of them was when the game was tied 2-2, you called a timeout. And can you just let the viewers know, and myself, because I would actually like to know as well, what were you telling the guys in that moment when the game was tied 2-2 in the third?
It was about 10 minutes left, if I recall, and they had us pinned in our end for probably a good minute and a half, and our guys were pretty gassed, and I just felt like we needed a little bit of a break. I thought they put one of their, I think again I recall them put one of their top lines on the ice, and I just wanted to get a timeout to let our guys rest and to get some fresh bodies on the ice. But we were getting into that stage where, throughout the course of this season, I felt like we started to tighten up a little bit when the game's tied and the game gets on the line, and I just wanted to calm everybody down and, more so say, hey, just stay patient. They're going to make a mistake here. We'll get our chances. We can't give them any. So I think there was a lot going into it. We talked about trying to manage the last 10 minutes to ensure that we at least get a point out of the game. I think there's been at least one or two games where we've let that point slip in conference because we've lost in the final couple minutes of games. And so it was really just saying, every point is massive. I mean, the standings are so tight this year. So it's just reassuring them that, hey, we're okay. Let's get playing here, be responsible defensively, and then when we get our opportunity, let's capitalize.
All right, so you mentioned that the penalty kill got two big goals in the game. Why was the penalty kill so successful against Cortland in the 4-2 win?
Well, the first goal, I think they either fumbled a puck in our end or Kerry Cruzel blocked a shot. I can't remember, but he outmuscled his guy to win a puck race and to win a battle in our zone, and then headmanned it up to Stuckless, and Nick kind of did the rest of it. It was kind of a deflected or tipped goal, but again, you just put the puck at the net, and good things can happen from it. And so that was a great goal to kind of get us going there in the second. I think it was a little bit of a breakdown by Cortland. I thought they went a little soft there. And then in the third period, that was a late power play goal. Joe really manipulated the defenseman by his stick placement to pass it in a certain direction, and as soon as the defenseman opened up his hips to pass, Joe took it away with his stick. It hit his stick, he got a breakaway and went in, and again, I just told you, we were going to get a chance. We just had to capitalize, and Glam was capitalized for us, and then we were able to shut it down the rest of the way.
All right, Nick Stuckless. He had a big 2-goal game. You just talked about one of his goals, shorthanded. Talk about his game against Cortland and how important it was to lead the team to victory.
Yeah, 2 goals for him, one shorthanded, and then I think it was early in the third period. It was a nice little play down low by, I believe it was Aiden Valley that slipped it over to him, and Nick buried a second of the night. So he's a guy that we need to contribute. There's a lot of ways that he can do that, but getting on the score sheet is one of them, and it was nice to see him get rewarded with 2 goals.
All right, overall feel about the 2 games played from this past weekend.
You know what? It's they're 2 good teams. They're 2 teams that were playing good hockey. We wish we probably could have had 3 or 4 points out of the weekend, but can't complain with 2. I think we set ourselves up for a really good. I think we're in a really good spot moving into the second semester. There's a lot of teams that are behind us that are coming now to us for games, and we finished the 8 conference games with 5 at home. So. Ultimately, you have to win those hockey games, and they're going to be tough. But I believe we're in a really good spot here to make playoffs.
All right, so end of the semester is here, obviously, and you guys have a 7-6 record. Just what are your thoughts with the teams played throughout the first semester? Sitting where they're at currently.
You know what? It's been a very good first semester, and 7-6-0. I think things could have been a little bit better just with the record wise, but. It's hard. You spend all last year, Evan, as one of the worst teams in the country and getting beat on a nightly basis. You really don't learn a whole lot. And a lot of the positions that we've put ourselves in this year, we've been in a position to win every single hockey game, all 13 of them. And we weren't in those positions a lot last year. And so it's a different feel this year. And so now you're spending this first semester teaching guys how to win and how to manage the puck and how to manage the game when you're tied or you're up a goal or down a goal. And it's been completely different feel for us as coaches. I think you look at a lot of the games that both won and lost this year. I think last season we just find a way to roll over and lose a lot of those games, and this year the guys are sticking with it. I think our staff's been very proud of what they've done this year and what they've learned, and I'm hoping that moving into the second semester when games start to get a little bit tighter and everyone starts to get a little bit better defensively and just kind of all around, that's going to help us, especially moving into playoffs, moving back into conference play and stuff like that. So it's been good. I like to think that we're probably one of the best 500 teams in the country.
All right, that sounds outstanding. What does a semester break typically look like for yourself as a coach? Just kind of go in detail on that and just lay it for the viewers.
Yeah, well now it's we get a little bit of a break here, so for us it's a lot of recruiting, probably the next week or 2, kind of up until I'd say the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and then spend some time with family for a couple days and then get back after it right after Christmas, starting on the 26th. It's time to start preparing again and getting ready for the second half push and starting some breakdowns of some of the non-conference teams that we play early on and making sure we've got a good plan for our guys for their daily kind of their daily routine in January when they don't have classes and things like that, and trying to set those guys up for success here in the second semester.
All right, thanks, Coach. That has been another episode of Mondays with Murph, episode 11 with head coach Steve Murphy. Just want to say thank you for always tuning in every Monday, and head coach Steve Murphy for always joining me every Monday. Maybe we'll see you guys next Monday for another episode of Mondays with Murph.